This is Larry Zbyszko, wrestling's living legend, and you're watching Monte and the Pharaoh.
Actually, the best thing, if you're injured, is to grow up and be a man. Come on.
All right, welcome to another special edition of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte the Pharaoh, only seen here at Village Connection Radio, live from Rockstar Studios. At the board is the owner of this illustrious station, Mr. Jim Savelli. To my right is the star of the show, Jimmy Pharaoh.
Yo.
And on the couch is none other than the most incredible wrestler in the world, Gangrel. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. What was that, like the Cheap Trick? It sounded like Cheap Trick, that opening
thank you very
music.
much. Believe it or not, that was me.
Ah, it's good. I liked
Thank
it.
you,
It's
sir.
catchy.
That was Wisteria Hall.
Yeah, Wisteria Hall, local Long Island band, up and coming.
Awesome.
So he's been playing with bands for a long time. So
When
we
I'm
try
not
to push the
playing with
music.
myself, I mean, yeah.
There's
There you
time
go.
for both.
There is
Did you ever
time
play
for
Did you ever play in a band?
Myself?
Yeah.
Lots. No, band, no.
Well, hey,
Matter of fact, in about an hour, I'm gonna get to that.
will Eric Sims be watching?
Yeah.
What?
Now you're pushing me. But he can't. I'll sit in the back seat, let him put the rearview mirror.
Hey, we're filming Gangrel live.
No bands. I used to dream of it. I always thought I wanted to be a drummer. I always thought drummer bass, which one? And then I certainly can't sing. I have no microphone skills. You never see me do a promo on wrestling. My fear of microphones and needles kept me to middle management, but I think it also kept me alive. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Fair enough.
So the way this works, Mr. Pharaoh will go over your illustrious career, and then we're going to have at it. Let's have a little fun. We really appreciate you coming down to our studio today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
All right, great.
All right,
All right, Jimmy, have at it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed guest for today, born under the name David William Heath, February 16th, 1969, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, United States. Resident currently, I'm assuming.
You're almost as old as us, bro.
I'm creeping.
Hey, he's from
Like Russ, it never sleeps. It just keeps creeping.
We're on that back nine.
We are?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Residence, Burbank, California, so they say at the current point. Previously married, as we all know, to the legendary Luna Vachon, of course. Professional wrestling career. He's had so many names. Mike, should I really do this? This is like, wow.
I know. Just as long as you mention Vampire Warrior, that's all that matters
Oh,
to
man.
me.
There's like all these things here. Claire Drive Ripper, the Avante Roller, the Black Phantom, Crazy Dave, David, Heath.
I like Crazy Dave.
I don't know those first two. You threw me for a loop on the first two.
Well, I'm glad you don't. You can correct me then. I don't know where half
Pretty
this-
much Dave Heath, Blackheart Destruction.
Okay. Yep.
Black
Yep.
Phantom, Vampire Warrior, and then Gangrel.
There
Well,
we
or
go.
technically there was Lestat, the Vampire. That was a transition into the Vampire Warrior when I first
Okay.
was doing the vampire thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And now I live in Florida, though. Back home in Florida.
Okay, good.
LA was chewing me up. I felt like Guns N' Roses video, Welcome to the Jungle. It was time.
man.
After 8 years, I packed it up and headed back to South
Oy.
Florida.
Yeah, did you catch the Motley Crue thing that just came out on Netflix about their days where you just got away from?
Yeah, I did. My buddy. It was funny enough. My buddy goes, oh, he's read all the wrestling books and all that. And he read that book, and he goes, I believe if you wrote a book, you would rival that, if not surpass it. I go, no. And then I watched the movie, and I went, oh, that's just like the attitude era. That's why.
Are you kidding? Holy
I like it's nothing except for
am I
no
not
needles. Like
No, I got to tell you, when you watch The Dirt, how these guys lived, it doesn't even make sense to me.
it really was. I'm not knocking attitude. It was a great time. It was fun, but that was every night, man.
Was it really?
It was like Rockstar. It was just wide open. And
believe
go,
that.
go. Now I don't do anything, and I feel worse. Back then, I partied every night, ran the road, and I was ready to go the next day, whatever. Now I get in the room, I'm like, oh man, I only got an hour.
I gotta tell you,
I feel it. I feel it.
I was just saying to someone, I'm like, when you watch
I
The
lived
Dirt,
it. Oh,
they're
no.
pretty much killing themselves, and all of a sudden they decide to go straight, and I'm like, man, that life sucks.
and consistent through the movie is Vince Neil once again is the guy who realizes they're at a certain point. He's like, this is the no fun band, and he starts drinking. right in front of him. He was like,
Here's
what
to your
the-
sober man. Yeah.
It was like, come on, we got to get back to what's going on here. Build at 6 feet, weight 240. Oh, hello, Pharaoh. How you doing? Build at 6 feet, weight 240. Trained by Boris Malenko.
Right.
Whoa, not
See, they
too
ribbed me
bad
on
there.
that. There was a giant rib. They ribbed me at the 6 foot because they knew I was sensitive about my height. So it was 6'2".
Well, why would?
I don't know. They like me. WWE, they have a lot of little ha-has. They told me,
That's
hey,
not
kid,
funny.
grow your hair in, get rid of the fangs, lose all the weight. So I came back with abs, hair, and no fangs, and they put a shirt on me and made me a vampire.
That makes a lot of sense. That's very funny.
Kind of stumped by that. You know, you did seem big.
I mean, they told me they'd never use that character. They said, we'll never. That was Vince himself that said that.
Did he really?
Yeah, right, yeah.
And this is before they made you the
But
character.
I think when Vince Caruso had that, what was it, like a month, he had total creative control.
Right.
He slid that vampire thing back in that door. So I was behind the 8 ball the whole time. I wasn't their favorite character there.
Interesting.
Well, it was a pretty cool character, man.
Oh, it
I
was
mean,
fun.
you know, it totally worked.
I loved
And
it
I mean, you got to
personally.
think about this. Without you, Edge and Christian probably don't make it to where they're at.
I had been pitching it to them since like '92, and they're like, "No, we don't know. That's not going to work." I go, "It doesn't matter as long as you look cool. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. You can lose every night as long as you have a leather jacket and change the jingle. You look cool. You know, I got to
Right.
quote my Tom Petty Get in there, but man, it's just like it was like great wide open. There's no no limit to it. These cool like rock star guys. It doesn't matter what happens. People are gonna like them. Vampires are not going anywhere. No, we don't see it. We don't get it.
Well, no. Well, wait a minute. What was that? What was that movie? That hot movie all my daughter was into and that shit like that. That vampire movie. Come on, someone help me
Don't
out.
say Twilight.
Twilight. There you go. Well, no, but I mean,
Well,
vampires were hot.
It was over, yeah. Blade came on strong first, Blade. But vampires
right.
always been around all the way back.
Vampires
So,
have
yeah,
been over since Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, they just keep
Actually,
recycling and
before
get
that.
cooler and cooler. They were monsters.
Yeah, but like
and-
Bela Lugosi wasn't a cool vampire, man. He was
I
like
look a little bit.
Dracula.
I look a little bit like him now. Like,
Tell that to
hair's going. I'm getting bald.
Tell that to the ladies who were watching him on a silver screen in 1932.
He was still pulling.
I bet you he was pretty cool.
Vampires Mac, you know.
Wait, but you think Lugosi was pulling some trim there?
Oh, come
Get
on.
out of here.
Thank you.
I had one fang as a vampire. My tooth got knocked out, and I still pulled.
Really? Half a vampire.
Granted, it was a strip club, but they think they're vampires
pretty funny.
too, so it's equal. It's a fair trade.
Yo, during the Attitude Era, when you went into a strip joint, did they just see you as a mark, or did you get freebies?
No, you know, I think the weird thing with wrestlers is they go in there with the attitude trying to hustle the girls. The girls are hustling, so it's just one giant hustle.
So you just
and
hustle
it ends
each
up a
other.
stalemate by the end of the night. You just end up going back.
Stalemate?
Yeah.
You just say, I know The Rock,
Yeah.
and they're all in anyway,
I know
right?
The Rock. Okay.
Yeah.
You had a killer entrance, man.
Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was like a perfect storm of things.
Did that blow your mind the first time they showed you what they had in mind? Because you would rise up, the flames.
Well,
the
they didn't show me or anything. They just kind of told me on a Friday. Says, "Hey, can you be there on a Sunday?" They put all that together. The music, I came up with the wardrobe. They had the entrance. All that came up over a Saturday into a Sunday. The lift and everything. So it was all on the fly. And now it's just like a perfect storm. But like Vince Russo was a big Kiss fan. I like Kiss. So the fire pyro is the more fire, the better everything is. You know. And,
We just saw Kiss 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't break a hip like Ozzy. And I had Stones tickets, and they canceled out on me. I'm saying
man.
2 concert tickets right now.
Yeah.
I go, man, these guys are like, Gene, don't slip your back out, man.
Hang in there.
Yeah.
That sucks.
He's got to make it. With August 6th, I think they come to Fort Lauderdale. Like, come on now.
It was good. No, it was a good show.
It was a good. I
They
heard it
always
was-
entertain, man.
Yeah.
That's
So I'm looking forward to it.
good.
But I seen that heat with like Motley Crue, right, with the lift thing. They were saying, "Oh, we're not even in our graves." Nikki Sixx and Gene was using their thing in one of their show things there. But
Right.
looking forward to it, really am. Though.
It's funny how they have to still lob bombs at each other, though.
Yeah, that's life.
Like Tommy was like mad that they were using something of theirs, you know. So
Everybody's lobbing bombs, man.
No, it's hilarious.
Throughout life.
It's like,
You know what I'm saying?
God, get over it, you know.
So you a big Stones fan too?
Yeah. So
I
I was a little bummed out.
I have a little rule.
I turned down
man.
a tour of India to do that concert, then they canceled on me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but you should listen to
my rule is if they're over 50,
maybe you'll feel better about it.
With the exception of Springsteen, they shouldn't be.
Unless
Any band should not be.
He's
playing.
got everybody retired, by the way. This is like, how rough is this?
Well,
That's rough.
I'm hoping to see the Who at the end of the year too. So,
So much for that, Joel. Wow. We just saw Kiss. Wait a minute, they're like 69 years old. What are you talking about?
Hey, he told me I must see it.
They were great.
Ozzy, I thought, well, sure, he'd give it, but Mick, I thought, man, he'll last. He's wiry,
Sooner or later, man, something's got to break.
I guess it was something in the heart or something. I was really bummed out.
As well as Mick, I'm hearing Ozzy is not well.
Yeah, he was in the hospital with something, and then
think
already broke a hip or something.
Yeah.
Do you think it's Sharon with her heavy schedule for Ozzy?
I don't know. What do I know, man?
It makes me wonder.
Sooner or later, Roosters come home.
Yeah, so kick this bad boy off.
So, tell me about yourself. You grow up in Florida, like you said. Mm-hmm. Why are you going into pro wrestling? What makes you decide to be a pro wrestler?
Well, it's a really long story, but not to be the pro wrestler part, but growing up, I wanted to be a preacher and play football. That was it. I gave sermons every other Sunday in church. People find that crazy to believe, but then I broke my neck playing football. My little brother died, and I grew up in a really rough neighborhood, and so when they took sports away from me and said you couldn't do sports anymore, I ended up slinging drugs and getting in trouble, running with stuff in the streets. I got a girl pregnant at 15. So without sports and guidance, I was just a train wreck heading for trouble. And to be honest, I had the newspaper, Boris Malenko, Dean's dad, the great Malenko, had to be a pro wrestler, make money on the weekends. And I was thinking, beats a shovel, man. I'll just go in there and fight somebody.
Right.
Been beat up before. What does it matter? And I went down there. I didn't know what to expect and everything. I just wanted to check it out. More of a money thing. I watched wrestling and liked it, but I didn't have a grasp of what was the work or this or that and that. I was just a kid when I watched it, and I was like, man, I can do this. I went down there. I was like 3 weeks in, and one of the trainers named Rusty Brooks came out and he goes, "I gotta ask you something." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you think this is?" And I'm like, "What?" You think this is? I go, "Oh, you trying to tell me, man? You can tell me I'm not gonna make any money? You're telling me who wins or loses? I'm never gonna get paid, And then he said, no, you're really good at it. You do everything like one time around. You're not even trying, He talked to me into staying, and 3 months later, I was doing jobs in WWF and Florida Championship and never looked back. Been wrestling ever since. So 32 years, September coming up.
Wow, that's great.
32 years, yeah.
Strange question. Did religion ever come back into your life after wanting to be a preacher in those early days?
It is. A lot of things have happened to me throughout life. A lot of stories. Like one of the stories is the house. I was funny enough. It goes back to a con. I was in my room. Cussing God, I was mad at him. I was looking at all my trophies, and I was 13 at the time, and I was sitting there just cursing him, everything. I went to bed and woke up, and my bed was on fire, the walls were on fire. I sat there and I watched all my trophies melt and everything. So I run out of the room. I tell my mom the house is on fire. Mom, I had cussed me out first, thought I was ribbing, and she seen all the smoke. She goes, "Oh crap!" They got everybody out, and now 80% of the house or more maybe burns, everything but their back room all the way to the other end of the house. And the fireman was there, and he goes, "Whose room was that?" And they all point at me, and like I'd done something wrong, and I'm like, "Oh crap! I don't even smoke, so I didn't do anything with cigarettes. I don't know what's going on." And he goes, "I shouldn't bring you up here because the fire's still hot. Technically not." He says, "But I've never seen anything like this in all my years of firefighting." And so he brings me up. My mom, he brings me up there, and he goes, "Is that yours?" And he points over, and there's a nightstand with a Bible sitting on it in my room, untouched and unburned.
Wow!
Just sitting there, not even wet from the fire. He goes, "I've never seen anything like that." And I said, "You know what? That's good because my Quiet Riot and Iron Maiden tickets are in that Bible." And they were. It was the first concert I ever went to was Quiet Riot and Iron Maiden on my own. My parents drugged me to a lot of country concerts at the state fairs, but that was my first bought set of tickets to a concert I was going to. And he goes, "That's it?" I go, "Yeah." I still stayed mad at God, But I mean, there's been things all through the years. There's a guy that came up to me. Me and Luna were going through like really bad times, and I didn't want nothing to do with it. She was trying to drag me to all these church ministry things, and she was turning her life around and trying to clean up and stuff. And I was just mad at her, so being hard-headed. And guy comes up to me and he says, gotta get your phone number. God told me to get your phone number. I'm like, F you, man. Yeah, Andy, I saw this in the doors. Like, Andy, we're all on the phone. He's like, no, I really gotta get your phone number. And after like 20 minutes of like trying to blow him off, like he was like Nikita Koloff's friend and stuff. So I said, all right, whatever. I gave him the house number thing, and it was like 2-3 months later. Me and Luna are back at it, fighting. She's in the bedroom, crazy shit, all the drugs, polishing. They're like cussing and ranting, and and I get the. I actually get the gun out at 9:40 Glock, and I'm like, I go, I was in a dark place. Like I couldn't do that to her, but I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. And I turned the stereo up and was sitting there and then loaded the chamber, and I was getting ready to put it there, and the phone rang. It was like 3 a.m, and sure enough, on the answer machine, he goes, "Hey man, I don't know if you remember me, but I got your phone number. I remember, like, I'm supposed to be using it right now." So yeah, I have a lot of experiences like that and similar things like that I could tell you all day long. So I guess it comes back, and I don't per se that I'm in I do ministries or anything. Maybe I just tell the story when it's needed to be told.
You're aware.
Like I'm there. I probably will end up going back to it someday.
You're aware something's up.
I'm the worst kind of supposed Christian or whatever. I walk the line. I'm like,
I hear you.
I know this. I seen this. And I can't deny any of this, but like, I'm over here like,
yeah.
You know,
welcome to the tug of war, right? Oh my God.
You know, speaking of Luna,
Pretty cool.
I don't know how often you visit the island, but the island, I believe, Jim, right, is probably one of the biggest opioid places in the world. It's really bad. Your ex-wife Luna, who passed away due to opioid addiction. You want to share it? Like, is there any? Do you feel any remorse? Do you feel like you could have helped her?
Well, I tried. I was with her, like, we were together almost 18 years, probably 10 more years of it than we should have been, like, because it was just madness, and I don't know, at some point I had to look at it like it was, because I do feel like when she, like, we weren't even apart, like a year when she passed,
Right.
She went to rehab and got out, and then, but it was like kind of a feeling like you're a lifeguard, Guy goes out there, he starts drowning, you swim out there, and you bring him back in. You're like 10 minutes later, he's back out, you swim out there again. 4th or 5th time, you're like, you're both drowned, because you're too tired to bring him back in. When do you make that decision? So yeah, it weighed hard on me, but like, I could sit there and second guess it, but I wouldn't be here today either. Like,
When you both first got together, were you both doing opioids and doing a whole bunch of stuff?
I didn't even know what pain pills were till '98.
Okay.
So I tore my pec on a pay-per-view with D'Lo Brown in Canada, and then I got to Detroit. Oh, it was this pec here. I was totally black and everything. They handed me a Vicodin, and I go, well, "What's that?" He goes, "Well, you need to go right to the doctor. Take this." And I took that, and I went, "Oh."
This feels good. Yeah.
I never went to the doctors. I just finished it out black. But I guess like she had been aware of it. I couldn't ever figure out why she would sleep 2 or 3 days when she came home. I said, I must have been one heck of a road trip or something.
So you didn't even know that she even
no,
had
I
this
didn't even
problem in the
comprehend
beginning?
all the
Okay.
things till later, like all these plastidils and all the different things and stuff like that. I was clueless. I knew like cocaine and alcohol, weed, cocaine, alcohol, weed. I didn't smoke weed, but I knew the other two and like exercise them demons a lot. But I didn't know all that other stuff.
So this was
till like '98. But she was, well on that path. But like a lot of people don't realize she dealt with mental illness. She was schizophrenic, bipolar, like. She was like always in pain, always hurting and just
strange question. You had your struggles too, as you've said. I mean, did she ever pull you back during the relationship? Like, hey, come back. Like when you would like maybe have your demons or go off the rails? Because I know you had to pull her back.
Yeah, we were side by side. I loved her, so like literally, like I was like it wouldn't. I don't know. We were like just hand in hand. What she told me was gold.
Right.
I walked her yellow brick road. I guess she walked mine. I don't.
Right.
I don't know. I guess we were the same equally. It's just at some point I grew. So I just grew tired. Like so tired. Because I was more the guy the next morning that went, okay. I didn't want anything else. Like, who didn't chip in here? I was counting the money. Wait a minute. I didn't pay for all. Why am I paying for all this? We got rent. I got this, do that. And I don't know if that's what kept me grounded or not. So I was a social.
Was it almost a point that when you were on the road, because you guys both on the road, it was like you didn't want to come home at some points? Like, I just don't even want to be part of this?
At some point, towards the end, like I would go and do a 3-week tour of Japan, go do two weeks in Korea, and then come and do another Japan tour because I had like you read the list of characters, so I'd do one tour as a Blackheart, go to Korea's whichever one, and then come back and do the Vampire Warrior in Japan for the same company, and then go home. So I would stay gone, and then in England I was staying gone 3 months at a time too. But that was, the Japan stuff was before WWF at the time, and the England and all that stuff was after. But it was more after that I wanted to stay away. Before I was just hungry, but after it was just because it was just fighting and chaos. And it wasn't that we didn't love each other and all that. We totally loved each other. We just it was just two trains colliding. Too much hurt and bad is gone. So whenever you started going down that path and doing that, at some point you're sobering up or this or that. At some point it came up. Your demons, like whatever bad has happened between you, you start trying to talk them out. Whether you feel the need to confess something or you feel the need to try to fix something or whatever. So then next thing you know, you're like, okay, an hour or two, a couple more lines. Oh, we're all right. Next thing you know, no, F you. And then, no, you son. Like, and then it's like 8 hours of that. But you're still fueling it, And then at some point, you have crazy mad sex. You wake up the next day, you're like, all right with each other again. But then it starts over like 2 hours later. Like a vicious cycle that it's just hard to break. But, we stayed friends. We talked all like, at least every 2 weeks, sometimes once a week we talk. But after got over being mad,
Here's a question for you. You were tag team with another wrestler called Tom Nash. Mm-hmm. They both managed by Luna. He was married to her, and then eventually you ended up, I guess, taking her. Like, how does that even happen? And do you have
take her like a caveman?
Well,
under my arm.
We've had Lanny Poffo in the studio, and when they talk about Miss Elizabeth and Randy locking her away and everything else.
Oh, God.
And then when I'm reading all this, I'm like, this is his friend. That's his friend's wife, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's with her.
What was the dynamic?
I'll give you that. She was with a wrestler. Rest in peace, Dick Slater. Okay, Luna was with Dirty Dick Slater.
Okay.
Dick Slater, right? She met me and Tom. Tom had a crazy childhood crush on her. He was like, Luna this. I didn't even like Luna. The first time I met her, she punched me in the face, ripped my shirt off when I was just driving her to a thing. She was drunk. I was scared of her.
Hello?
Didn't want anything to do with her. Like, yeah. I protested every time she managed us and everything. I had major issues with her.
That's great.
Major issues.
Are you kidding?
And then she was still living with Dick Slater though, and but he was like had a mad crush on her. And one day, she climbed out a window and ran away, and they came back married. So it wasn't a romance or nothing. Like it wasn't like she
climbed out of Dick Slater's window.
Well, it was her place, but she left it.
She climbed out of her own window.
Yeah, her own window,
leaving Dick Slater there, and showed up married.
And they came back, and then they were like married, and he like moved out or
review.
something, and she was married. But at the same time, I still didn't like her. But like we literally went somewhere to train, and like. She dropped out of over the top rope, bit me in the back. I had a scar on my back. She lashed on like a pit bull, and the only way I got her off her was that I dove through the ropes, so the ropes got her off me. And then I had a scar on my back. Before that scar healed, we were best friends. So we were best friends for a while. Like
wait a minute, how did you become best friends?
I think she was a real vampire. I think she
you
bit me.
You friggin' bit me, and then she turned you.
I think she turned me. I think she was the original vampire. I joke about that all the time. But like I couldn't stand her. Then. I don't know how we became best friends. We just did, and then we were getting accused of seeing each other all the time, and obviously she wasn't in love with him. No, absolutely no. And then we got accused of it. Then I had a big fight with him in Philly. I got actually held for attempted murder when it was in the Denny's in the Philly. It was a Joe Goodhart show.
What was the fight about?
Whoa.
He swung on me, accusing me of that. And he swung at me.
So he was jealous.
I lost it because he was like I'm not talking bad about him. He's kind of like he was a bully. Like I don't know. It was just me and him had a tough relationship.
An uncomfortable situation.
We might as well have been married. It was a tough tag team. But then that came up, and then I just lost it. And the police came and they handcuffed me. But then after they talked to him when he came through consciousness, they asked, "Was he on drugs?" I go, "No, he doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs." And then
you knocked him out.
Well, yeah.
You kind of like passed through that whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was bad. Like I feel really bad because Kevin Sullivan made me feel like so horrible the next day. He goes, "I never seen anybody do that to a human being in my life."
Well, what did you do?
I just lost it. I don't
Sure,
know.
like,
I caught him a one.
bit him.
It was like a school fight. I had my knees on his arms and I choked him out and was back and forth.
bat, like,
and
yeah.
Luna dove across on the stop. But it was like I lost it. I grew up fighting. It was a rough neighborhood. Like it was nothing to fight. Like,
Yeah, I know.
but you're either all in or you're all out. You're not halfway
So
fighting anything.
Luna wasn't mad at you for that?
No. She was all like.
She's like, beat my husband up. Who gives a shit?
No, she. But,
Kill my husband. Who
Everybody's
cares?
missing the point where she climbed out of a window, high on drugs, and then came back married. Like, there's no love there.
I gotcha.
There's no love there. There was no no
Think
love.
how Dick Slater felt. She
Well,
runs out on me to go with a guy she doesn't like, and then she ends up with a vampire.
I don't know.
No.
He's got his own past.
Yeah.
I don't know. You hear so many controversial, but I tried to stay out of everything.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But we were best
You were
friends,
trying.
and then after that, we ended up together, and then we were together almost 18 years or something.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thoughts on her getting into the Hall of Fame this year?
I was happy in one way, but a little disappointed in another way. Because I think she pioneered. I think she deserved the actual Hall of Fame.
so the
induction.
legacy thing bothers you?
Right, a little bit, and Wahoo
Paul,
McDaniel's too. I think
yeah.
Wahoo McDaniel's a Native American,
Yeah,
club
what's
football. I think he, deserved more than a legacy. But
Yeah.
but it is an honor and it is something, and I was happy because I didn't even think she would get that, with them because she's, her history, like I said, with the bipolar and the schizophrenia and the fighting, and you never knew what Luna you were going to get that day. But I loved her with all
Well,
my heart.
Luna was Luna.
Luna was Luna for lunatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm crazy and I got papers to prove it. I don't know how many times that I would I spent more time trying to figure out how to hide from WWF at the time that she had been Baker active for 72 hours, and cover for her, get flights changed, and come up with these things. It was like it was a real art, a gift. I could have probably been a roadie talent for Monte Cruz.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing the same kind of things. You're like, no, her mom's here and she had to go here, but her kids are here, finagling everything, trying to work the time pattern out, and get the flights changed because everything went to the office, But no, she deserved more. I think she pioneered things as a manager, but as a wrestler, she really understood wrestling and she really loved it. And coming from the wrestling family, Mad Dog, her uncle, Butcher Paul, her aunt Vivian was also with Buddy Wolf. She comes from, and she loved wrestling through and through, and you couldn't tell her any different. That was just her passion and love. And, so it was sad, but I'm glad she got that. I'm glad she got that because I didn't think they would even do that.
Well, I think that it's difficult for them, right? Because the Hall of Fame induction is a marketing tool, right? And after you're out of wrestling for a while, you're not relevant anymore. So it's hard for them. But I think they're doing the right thing by bringing these these iconic wrestlers.
I'm glad
and
they're
putting
doing
them
this
in
at least.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Sometimes
I'm with
you would
you,
think
yeah.
you would hope they would do it before they pass, and then
Yeah.
sometimes it seems like,
it was like, are they just saving on flights?
I mean, we just lost, like King Kong Bundy, for
So-
example.
Right.
Ivan Koloff.
I don't know if you saw the John Oliver thing on HBO, but
No.
but basically he's trying to push the fact that wrestlers died at an early age. You were talking earlier about the Attitude Era, and we were talking about the Dirt on Motley Crue on Netflix. What was a typical night after a wrestling match during that time for you?
For me, because
Yeah.
I was with Luna, to be honest, 1, 2 8 balls, 10 hits of ecstasy, whatever,
Oy.
like Soma. Or
Well,
whatever.
you come out. You come out of
A
the
night. That's a nighttime course. Well, you have a tolerance up, right?
I got
You
it.
build a tolerance. It keeps.
And you're a big dude,
I got
too.
papers, and I'm impressed.
I would die now. Like I have 3
Oh,
beers
my
now, and
God.
I'm like
3
struggling.
beers.
Now I struggle. Like 3 beers, the life's
Really?
rough for the next day. I'm like,
Wow.
ooh,
So you get out of your wrestling
Right.
match, and then you're like, all right, let's take a shower. Then you get high.
Well, you know what I mean?
How's it roll? You go to a bar.
Let's get
What's
high
going
in
on?
the
Well,
shower. What
you
are you
kind of
talking
stop
about?
to wrestle. Like I didn't like to wrestle high or anything, but technically, when you're doing that much ecstasy, you're always high, right? So you never really come down. You're just like rebooting.
Right.
You're just
Showers
you're just
just-
re-upping in your system, right?
Showers just
shower,
reignited.
but
They
like
just
I
reignited,
liked
yeah.
my sleep. I like to sleep and stuff. Some people would run days on and in, but no, I didn't. It never intended to do it. It'd be like, she like we'd go do something. I go, well, I'm paid for it. I might as well. Like, whatever. So one will lead to 2 to 3. Next thing you know, it's like 4 or 5 in the morning. You're like, well, let me catch this flight, sleep on the plane, go eat, hit the gym, do another show, and then cycle over.
Was anyone a dick to you at that time? Or Luna? Like, did they think they were the shit and it was like, didn't give you any respect?
I don't know. She struggled with Sable. She was always having issues with Sable, and then like the only thing that ever drifted over to that was I had some issue with Mark Merrill, but not really. Nobody was ever. I was always got along with everybody.
That's good.
Well, Luna wasn't alone when it comes to Sable, from what I understand.
Well, she was trying really hard, but they didn't like really want to. They weren't putting an effort in, and Luna, like I said, loved pro wrestling. It was her life, and she was honored to be even a part of it. And she looked at like Vince McMahon and Caesar, like she just wanted to be in that input. What little it was, she wanted to contribute and do the best she could. So she saw you not really respecting it, and you're getting everything handed to you. It bothered her, coming from a wrestling family.
Sure,
heritage, yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Tell us about your time with, as you know, we of course most remember you with Vince. Tell us about meeting Vince and coming to the WWE. How does this all start?
Well,
for
people
you?
don't realize that I've probably been working there since 88, 89.
Yeah.
I'm constantly on as David Heath, or later through the years as the Black Phantom. At some point, they would just fly me in to do like matches, tryout matches for people. I'd sit in the gorilla position. They just fly me to TVs and all that. So they were always nice to me. It was more of like you got to get a body. I was always a heavier kid. I always thought, oh, can't just rely on wrestling, but no, not then. You had to have a little bit more than wrestling. So, and true to their word, once I got in shape, they gave me a contract and hired me. I was on a tour of all Japan, and Johnny A said, oh, they want you to come in and all that. So they gave me the job, but it was always nice. He just wasn't a big fan of the vampire character and stuff like that. But
Russo was.
Russo liked it. He was a Kiss fan and everything else. So Russo seen things.
And,
I don't know over the years how he drifted. A lot of people say some bad stuff about him. But my experience is he didn't pay much attention to me, but he did open the door, give me that opportunity to do the character that put so much time into wanting to do, like that nobody wanted to do. So he got it in there. So I have all the respect in the world. But did he focus on us with that? No, I was just a tool for how to bring Edge in. They had already had Edge there. They didn't know what to do with him.
So did you already know that? Like,
Yeah,
they were gonna use you to-
know.
okay.
Yeah, they told me to look out for him, watch out. Yeah. That was my job, and I was good with it because I just loved wrestling.
No,
a
you're
lot
great
like
with it.
Luna. I love wrestling. I still wrestle. I'm in the ring 3 days a week, 7 days really with the school and everything. And
So I just want to make sure I got this straight, because I'm what they call the wrestling nerd. Mm-hmm. So here I am watching back in the Attitude Era, right? And I happen to be a big fat mark for the Brood, right?
Okay.
All of a sudden,
He was 49 at that point.
I'm not. I'm barely 49 now. You SOB. Anyway, so. I always was like, into the Brood. I thought they were great, and it seemed to me like all of a sudden you were pushed away, and you already knew about all of this. I feel emotionally.
I remember.
I feel emotionally robbed.
Things went like.
Where'd he go?
First of all, the Brood was never supposed to get over. Right?
It was great.
It was just a tool.
How did it come about, the Brood? How did it come
Well,
about?
I was. Edge wanted Christian in, and I kept pushing the group. I'm like a group of vampires, like the Lost Boys. I kept pushing that, and then Bruce Pritchard kind of said, "I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying," and then kind of steamrolled from there. Steamrolled from there where they wanted to get Christian in there, so he came in, and then they never told a story between us. You don't know if it was related to Edge, why we hated each other, why we attacked each other, why we're friends. They never told any story.
Right.
The most you ever heard, I think they're from a village. Somebody what village? Was it Romania? Where's this village at? Like England or where? But no, it wasn't supposed to get over. And then it did, and then they said, "Oh, okay, well, we need to stop that. Let's just put them in the ministry." So, so then you seen the ministry run. So we did the ministry thing, and you remember the ministry used to come out on the stage. At the end, they'd come, all the ministry and the Brood would be down at the end, and people would brew in the ministry, and then all of a sudden they'd go Brood, and the whole building. And I leaned over to Edge, and I said, "Yeah, we're done."
No.
He goes,
Really?
He goes, what are you talking about? I go,
that hurts.
No, we're done. You can't get over it. Like you're here in the ministry, and they're chanting.
Taker, right?
Sure enough, a week or so later, they came up and said, we think we're gonna feud you against the ministry. Wow. and then I said, I'm done. He goes, what are you talking about? We need this. I go, no, you're gonna go on your own. And sure enough, after that feud, they came to me and said, I think you are the Brood.
Right.
Well, first he gave me the Hardys. Then he came to me and said, I think you're the Brood. And then I got hurt. But then I got hurt, and then broke the neck, and then I was done. First it was the shoulder and then the neck. So
you ever
And
feel,
real quick,
Yeah,
D'Lo broke your neck?
No. I did Northern Lights with Regal.
Okay.
D'Lo, I tore my pec.
All right.
I tore my pec.
So can you explain that? What happened with that? I'm sorry. I'm
the Northern the neck?
Yeah.
They just said it was years of bridging, so much the bridges always landed on my head through Japan and all that.
Okay.
All the years, there's bad bridges, good bridges, whatever, just craziness. It was compact. And I broke it when I was 13 too. Remember in the beginning of football.
Yep.
So it was the second time. But they told me I wouldn't wrestle anymore, do this or that. They wanted me to fuse all 4 vertebrae, but I chose rehab. Went through it and got it back. I moved. I wrestled. Heck, I don't know. I wrestled Wednesday, Thursday, tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. I'm in home. Then I got class. I run a school 4 days a week, so teaching. I'm in a ring. So I'm basically in a ring 7 days a week. So I'm blessed. I still get to do what I love. And second chance in life, because I lived that wild, fast life. Now I can laugh about it. That's how I deal with it. When you ask stories, I'm honest with it because that's how I deal with it. I go, what an idiot. I look back and go, man, you lived through that. All your friends are gone. Everybody people you love dearly are gone. But you're here joking, which can make you kind of a butthead about it. But it's how I cope with it.
No,
that's my coping.
You're also helping people, right?
Yeah.
You're teaching people, Hopefully, of the 20,000 listeners watching now or watching now, that
More
one
people
decides.
watching, listening than you think.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully, there's a lot of other paths.
Where's your school?
Dania Beach, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, basically. Dania Beach.
So I don't know if one of our writers for our website, monteandthepharaoh.com, that's not ampersand, but it's AND, monteandthepharaoh.com. One of our writers, Jim Phillips, says that you also work with a training school in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
No, I don't know. North Carolina?
Yeah, I thought he said North Carolina. Or there might be
Do a lot of
organization-
shows in South Carolina. I know
Maybe
Carolina.
maybe
Unless he's talking about like Bob Keller or something, but I don't do anything for him.
I don't know if I have it straight, so. Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not saying maybe he didn't have it straight when he gave it to you.
Maybe he wasn't straight when he gave it to you.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe he's going to yell at me and be like, you got it all wrong.
Yeah. So no, maybe I had a school I had a school in L.A.
Yeah.
In Burbank with Rikishi's cousin, and then Rikishi came in. So I trained out there. I trained like Rusev. So.
Oh, you did train Rusev?
Yeah, I trained Rusev
Nice.
and stuff like that. And a lot of people that are doing good. Jacob Fatu, who's in MLW now, doing well, and all that. When I was in California, and then I came home to Florida, and I opened my own school back home. Yeah.
And how's the school doing?
Great. Got over 50 students.
Nice.
It's growing every day. I don't have not one bad kid in there. I'm just blessed with great kids.
Do you ever
and great
run across
attitudes.
someone you're like, this guy's going to have the goods?
I have.
Or woman.
Believe it or not, I got about 5 of them in there right now.
That makes
That I
sense.
think within a year.
If you got 50, that makes
Well,
sense.
the 2 of them are 17. They're very young twins, Colombian twins. But they'll
Excellent.
sign when they're 19. They're going to immediately sign. But I have 3 or 4 guys right now that just started within the last 6 months that have I can't believe it. They just all came in at once that have what it takes. I'm like,
Do you have a direct pipeline where you can call Vince and say, hey, I got
not
not
Vince.
Vince.
Not
but
Vince.
How
No.
about Vince's people?
I do communicate to like
You know what I'm
NXT
saying?
and all that.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you're
but I
able
haven't
to do that.
exercised yet. I haven't
Yeah.
had nobody, but within soon, I'm going to try to exercise.
Right.
You get a piece, you get a cut if one of them gets signed?
No, man. It's just like college. When you go, you pay for your schooling, and whatever you do, bless you. I hope you do great because whatever you do, it's good for us, right?
comes
So
back
your
to
reflection.
your-
That's right, yeah.
It's a reflection
Absolutely.
of me. It's like your kids going out. I couldn't take money from your kids. Well, you could when you get older and you can't walk, but no. They come in. It's basically $2,500. And there's no time limit. I tell them if you give me I tell them there's 2 other schools. They should go check that out. Because if you come here, whether it's a hobby or you're trying to do it, professionally and go on, I'm training you to succeed. So I don't want you to come in here and goof off and hold other people back. Because it's a 3-hour class. They work 2 hours and 50 minutes of it. There's no getting on your cell phone. There's no more than taking a sip of a water break. And they don't mind it. They know what they're getting into before they come there. I give them the other school's numbers. I go, check these out,
Right.
This might not be for you here because you come here, you're gonna work because these people we're all working.
And you love training.
I do. I ran like the Malenko school for a while, Alpha school, the Wild Samoan up in Allentown. So I've been around a lot of schools and I didn't think I would, but now I think my head's on clear. I'm not partying. You know what I mean? Like I look at life different. I'm a vampire, but I'm an energy vampire. I'm stealing off their youth now. I'm stealing off their energy. So when I see them get something for the first time and I see it in their face, I go, yeah.
get it.
And it gives me the pump.
That's your
I go
high.
home.
There
I go
you
home
go.
on my high
That's
right
your
now
high.
thinking,
That's
they
the-
got it.
that's the best high you
And
can
then
get.
I'm looking at the
That's
ones that
great.
I was mentioning to you that I know, and I'm so excited when each day they move up a little bit more, and I go, oh yeah, and then I'm so glad that I can see it, and I'm watching them grow, and I go, it's a reflection of me in a roundabout way, and it's me reliving through them, so I'm fueling off of them, And I'm trying to do the best I can by what I know. And I'll ask somebody, all right, guys, so which way are they doing headlocks this week up there? So, I'll check up on things to make sure I'm teaching them the best I can, and give them the best education and craft the tools to work for it in wrestling. And hopefully it pays off.
What if one of them's a drizzling shits? Do you tell them, just like, don't waste your money?
Well, you try to avoid that in the first talks in the office. Don't take everybody's money. But how do you somebody comes in there with heart and hard work? How do you tell them no, you can't?
Yeah.
Try to do this, and there's one guy that came in and
you go like this. You suck. Get out.
Well, there's one guy that comes in. I said, hey, you could be a ref for this and that. He could come. He goes, no, I'm just gonna do it. You can help me do other things better, like these like cosplay things. Now he's like. He's like, no, I want to wrestle, and he's in there training even harder than everybody else. What do you say? I guess you just keep teaching. Find a way to teach them. Not everybody has the same athletic ability and talent or look or gifts as each other, but they all have gifts in some kind of way. So you got to find what they have and tune into it and help them bring that out and maybe work towards that more than some of the other things, because you're going to learn 1,000, 2,000 moves. You can learn all the moves you want, but you're going to throw them out. How many moves did Hulk Hogan have? How many did Stone Cold do?
Yeah, sure.
How many did The Rock do?
Yeah,
there's a lot of other things in the play than athletic ability and moves. And so, there's characters, so you try to find that, and then you try to bring that out in them and work towards that. So I never say never. I mean, there is some you go.
I mean, do you run also independent shows also?
Well, we run a student show every month in the school. Okay. We'll take one ring down, put it in together. It holds 150 to 170 people. We do about that every week or every month. And then I just started running a casino show. So bi-monthly, we do a show where we'll bring a couple names in, because you got to have shows for your students to work, right? So if you keep producing product, but keep producing wrestlers, but there's nowhere for them to wrestle, what good is that? Then you're over. You got 100 wrestlers and no shows. So you got to run shows for them and have outlets for them also to learn, so they can get their craft better and hone it in.
Do you get a decent crowd coming to these shows?
Well, we ran our first show. The building held 500. We drew 480. So
that's great.
And that was May 18th. And
so 480 is a solid show.
February 23rd, and so our next one's May 18th at the casino. We got D'Lo Brown coming in with Al Snow and Bushwhacker Luke and one of the headbangers.
Good.
So those are, and myself will be on it, and then students are filtered in there. And then, but our student shows always do about 150 in the school. 171 when they're standing, but we gotta be careful because of the fire. They show up and they're like, "Hey, gotta keep these lanes clear. We're glad we're doing good in the community, but we really need to take heed to these rules. So we do. So
thoughts on coming from again a big fan of the Attitude Era. Do you think it was a missed opportunity, and was it ever considered to possibly push you in a one-on-one program against The Undertaker? Because after all, you two guys were the premier dark characters of that show, and you were very heavily featured for quite a while. So was it ever entertained? Did you ever hope for it? Why didn't they do it?
Your answer's within your question. When I told you about the whole stage thing, it was like there's only one room for one dead guy at that time.
But not even a program where
and they brought me back in 2005 or something. I don't even remember when it was, but they had a tag with Viscera in a handicap match. And they signed me for like 8 months and never left me at home, let me go. Then brought me back again and signed me again for 6 months. And said they were going to do all this, sci-fi channels, but nothing ever came from it. Now, do I? Of course, you have all the dreams in the world. You want to work the man. He's the dude, the general, right? Yeah. He's the guy, the head honcho. You want to be that program, right? Taker's. How long before he lost in WrestleMania, that winning streak, So you want that, you hope for that. You excel for that. Austin, The Rock, any of those, But
who's the greatest of the Attitude Era? Is it Stone Cold? Is it The Rock? Who is it? If you had to be pinned against the wall, who's the face of that? If you have to.
The face. Well, that's not just work. Face. That would have been, I think it was Stone Cold, no? Because he was the ultimate rebelling. Every person related with flipping your boss off and rebelling.
How was he behind the scenes?
Awesome. Great guy.
Awesome.
Super nice guy. Super. So was The Rock, and he was awesome too. Taker, great. All nice guys. All good leaders. Yeah. Taker was a leader. Stone Cold, leader or not, I don't know. Stayed quiet or nothing, but he was super nice too. Taker was more of a leader, general type of thing. Rock was like Stone Cold, kind of did his own thing, but super nice.
Triple H?
I don't know. He had all kinds of. He was doing all kinds of stuff. He was.
There was a lot going on. I'm just curious
because you had all the DX, you had all that. So I was kind of a guy that minded my own business. So I don't know if he stepped up at some point and became a leader. Because I remember a few meetings where they were talking about doing something, and he said, "You got to." I can't remember the exact thing it was, but you knew right when he gave it. You go, "Oh, well, he's on his path," because he tuned in. He was like right side by side Vince, and you go, "Okay," so he slowly.
You
became,
saw.
Yeah, you see it. You see where
saw
he's
it
getting ready to
happening.
say, yeah.
Oh boy.
You see that develop and grow right there. So you go,
Right
okay.
in front of
well,
you.
I didn't know that he'd go on to be the man, but
Right.
but good for him,
Yeah.
But yeah, you saw that. But at the time, it was more Taker, But he was there. He was always working. You always seen him doing things. But like I kind of minded my own business, trying to stay out of trouble. I was hiding a lot of things. I was floating around, just getting by, trying to just stay, not kill Luna and myself together. We had our own thing going on, so it was our own little universe. There's a big universe here, but we had our own thing over here going on. So. But very blessed and to be a part of that and to still be able to and the network too is really good because I'll go places and the guys will come up, they're our age or older, and they go, "Oh, our daughter's a big fan." And you look down and she's like 9, 10 years old. You go, "How could she be?" She watches the network, and you come up through the fire with you and Edge and Christian. She just loves it. All the little girls like vampires, man. They grow up to be big girls.
Do you get residuals from the network still?
I don't think I get anything from the network. I think I get random things from video games or something, or not video. I don't know, whatever they like DVD that comes out or something. Every quarter or something, you'll get like a $200-$300.
Speaking of DVDs, Evan Ginsberg, who has a show here on Village Connection every Sunday from 11 to 1, he's the associate producer of 350 Days.
All right.
I think you're in that movie. Do you remember being in that movie?
No. Yes and no.
Kind of?
Kind of. I remember they came and got me, a fellow named Bobby Rydell, and they said, "Hey, do you want to do an interview?" I go, "I was in the bar." I like, they said it's like whatever.
Then some guy came in and said, "Ron, get out here."
Whatever.
kind of remember part. I was in the bar.
Jason's there giving me my bar tab. They go, "Oh, it pays this much." I went, "All right." Let me
come to the tab.
wait, this is covered. Let me get up here. And I did it and all. And then, they would write me and they say, "Oh, they really like what you did in there." So I go, I didn't really push it a whole lot because I couldn't remember what I did. I hadn't seen it.
What did I do?
What did I say? What did I do? But it's probably the same guidelines as what I said now. You know what I mean? Like I am who I am.
Right.
What you see is what you get, drunk or sober. It's the same idiot. It's with fangs.
Did you
bigger head or smaller head, redder face or whatever.
Did you hit the gas? Did you hit the gas throughout your career at all?
Yeah, 98.
How'd that do for you?
Well, 97.
Because you're a big guy.
Well, good. I had to get a body. I got body. It was more of a. I did more.
Had to get a
I had
body.
to get a body. It was fat, but it was diet. It was more of a like.
What do you mean? You have to have a salad once in a while?
Yeah. Well, I was doing it, and then a
man.
bodybuilder came in and basically, "What are you doing?" I go, "Oh, this." He goes, No. He took all this away from me, and he handed me a piece of paper with a diet.
All right.
And the diet was what I needed.
Yeah, I got you.
Came down to it, but no, I tried, but it was the diet that changed my body.
And when do you decide to go to permanent fangs?
When
Well, they are permanent, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Thank God.
More trickery in the wrestling world.
Did you read that they were
I
permanent?
thought they were.
Are you aware that it's out there that those are permanent?
They were at one point.
Oh, they weren't.
Ah, you see, I do know.
Well, way early. Like I remember, I told you, Vince said, get rid of the fangs, grow your hair in, and lose some weight.
Look at that.
They were permanent. That's why. Why do you ever see? They didn't let any just guy wear.
Look at this. He's got nice teeth.
This guy
What's
got
going on here? Dr. Blitzer is thrilled. This is great. Go on.
So like. I don't even know what I was saying. You lost me.
No, you were saying Vince said lose the fangs.
Well, yeah. He said get rid of the fangs. Why do you think
got
I was the Black
fired.
Phantom? Got to wear a mask because he had fangs. At that point, when I was doing, it was the Black Phantom. I had fangs. They're like, God, just let him put a mask on the guy. This idiot's got fangs. They didn't have any mask job guys or enhancement guys or whatever. So the fangs got me. They put the cover his face. So he's got fangs. So that's how I got away with being the mask guy. Like everybody goes, how did you get to wear a mask? They must really want to use you. No, they just wanted to cover my mom.
That's great.
I want to bring Eric from ESS in. Eric's the promoter of the weekend who's brought Gangrel in. Eric, you want to tell us where Gangrel will be this weekend?
Hey, it's no BS. It's your cult hero. It's ESS. And anyway, so later today...
BS with ESS. He gets hot. Look at him. Now he's hot.
You haven't been paid yet.
Yeah, I just got cut
Jesus
20
Christ.
bucks.
Well, if you didn't realize why everybody hates Eric, this is why.
Oh man. Fuck you.
Hey, you can cuss on this thing.
It's 11 in the morning.
Hi, Fred Rogers. Sunday morning.
All right, go ahead, man.
Yeah, please go on.
I just.
1 to 3 today. We'll be at the Wrestling Universe in Queens, New York. Gangrel's been there before, but we're coming back, so please come out and support us tonight. SWF Live in Bayville, New Jersey. It's Mega Slam. It's their big show. It's their WrestleMania type show. Gangrel's on there. It's facing Tommy Dreamer. Two Cold Scorpios down there facing Puma King from AAA.
There's Puma King again.
King guy. He's everywhere.
And Serpent.
Wait, hold on, real quick.
Tico Pro Wrestling.
If you were a wrestler, would you name yourself Puma King?
It's like a shoe.
Exactly. Nike Queen.
King of shoes.
He looks like a tiger.
Hi, I'm Puma King.
No, he's a nice guy though.
Match.
No, he's a nice guy. I see him everywhere though. He's like everywhere I go, Puma King's on
Puma
the show.
King's there.
Puma King's
Everywhere you go, it's like Puma
Yeah.
King.
Puma King.
Can't get away from Puma King. Just can't. Go ahead. Sorry. What? I'm not a. Why are you getting all upset?
There's something in this.
Hey, I got a question to ask you. I was
ahead.
cruising around the internet, and speaking of Luna, she was like looking to beat your ass at some kind of. Can you tell that story real quick?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what's behind this?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. So it was a Legends of the Ring Wrestling Convention down in New Jersey. They have me. I'm one of the bookers down there, so they had me book some talent for the show. So Luna was one of them. I also booked Rikishi, Brian Christopher, who just passed away.
Right.
And I had New Jack at my table. Now, I was driving around with Rikishi and Brian Christopher because we had a multitude of appearances for that weekend. So someone picked up Luna at the airport, took her to the hotel, taken care of. I had her taken care of while I was on the road, taking care of my other business with the other guys. And then it came, at the wrestling convention, I go over to say hello to her. She said hello to me. I go back to my table with New Jack, because, he needs babysitting and, whatever.
Yeah.
So the next thing I know, she's coming over. The next thing...
Go ahead.
So the next thing I know, she's coming over. You okay?
I was just talking to New Jack. Keep going.
Okay.
They've got some.
I don't want to know what they ate that day, by the way, but keep going.
All right.
You got
So-
momentum. It's all yours.
All right. So she comes over, starts screaming and yelling at me about this or that or whatever. And it all comes down to I wasn't paying enough attention to her.
Oh, so she's
because
mad.
Well, no, wait a second.
the payoff.
Wait a second, because I booked her for the thing, and usually when I book her, I pick her up, I take care of her, I'm get her a meal, get her to point A and B. Someone
You're
else.
gonna find out what she
Someone else took care of that because I was busy with other talent, running the gang, doing the grind with the different wrestling shows and the appearances and this and that. I just didn't have enough time to do enough, give her the attention that she's accustomed to having with her ESS. But, again, so I apologize for that. But, so we had the big blowout, the yelling, the screaming. The security came over. They separated us.
Saved his life. You better be glad they came over.
She was yelling. She was yelling. She was screaming. She was just having one of her psychotic fits. But nothing, no violence occurred. It was just a lot of yelling and screaming.
Lucky for
The
security.
You'd
You'd have lost an eyeball for sure. She pops them out quick like grapes.
Thank God I did.
Before you know it, she'd have been a chunk out of your face and popped an
The security people
eyeball
were
out.
calling me away because it was getting, we were face to face and it was getting very close, like very close.
You think you had a chance if you had to throw it?
Please don't say yes.
I'm a gentleman. I don't want to hit a woman.
Yeah.
All right, well, don't.
But if you put your hands on me, all's fair in love and war.
Again, real quick, where are you going to be right after this?
Okay, Pro Wrestling Universe, Queens, New York. from 1 to 3, and then tonight 6 p.m. at SWF Live. It's the big Mega Slam show in Bayville, New Jersey, and I want to see all my wrestling fans.
Is Bill Pierce going to be there tonight?
He could be.
Oh.
I don't know. He could be down there.
Puma King.
Puma King.
Gangrel's-
Can you do us a favor? Could you beat up Puma King tonight?
Would you?
Well, no, he's not fighting. He's
You
fighting.
like Puma King?
Listen, he's fighting Tommy.
He's just having fun with the name.
He's fighting Tommy Dreamer probably in an Extreme Rules match tonight.
So that would be
okay?
perfect. Gangrel, come on.
We've
beat
only
up Puma King.
wrestled once, and that was in ECW. We haven't. This will be the second time we've ever wrestled, so I'm looking forward to it.
That's actually a very interesting.
And
match
then,
to watch.
it's
Wrestling Mars.
Serpentico and Too Cold Scorpio and Puma King,
And
Triple A,
Puma King.
in an international dream match for SWF Live and SWFWrestling.com, and go to my website at ESSPromotions.com for all the great
And
upcoming.
by the way, SWF is a advertiser, a sponsor for Village Connection Radio. Did you know that?
Wow!
Look at that. How do you like that?
Awesome! I'm happy for you guys now. Good on board.
Village, the number one radio station
They
online.
finally got on board.
There you go.
Excellent. I'm one of the bookers down there, talent coordinators, and I have a very good working relationship with them down there. So love working with the SWF brand, and they got a lot of good things going down there. Part of the Trifecta series. So got a bunch of different promotions, and it's all good. So glad you're part of that family, and the family and my family, and it's good. It's a good connection.
Again,
it's a good marriage.
we always love having you come in, and
Thank
we've built a decent friendship.
Well,
And I got to
no
tell you,
BS
sir,
with the SS.
this was an incredible interview. We appreciate you coming in.
Oh, well,
it's
thanks
been
for
our
having me.
honor.
Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Once again, this has been another episode of Monte The Pharaoh, Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast.
Guess what we got coming up?
Who?
Next month, Tatanka and Mr. USA Tony Atlas, and
Nice.
that's in the middle of May, and we'll I can't wait to get the flyers for that, so we start promoting that. But they're coming, so for the great fans of the Monte and the Pharaoh show,
It'll be interesting.
Tatanka and Tony Atlas, and Tony Atlas loves.
Just caught Tony Atlas on the Vice Network. They're doing like a behind the dark side of wrestling, behind the scenes type of deal. They talk about Bruiser Brody being murdered.
Excellent.
He was there.
It's actually a good deal.
He was there. Tony was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for joining us. Another outstanding episode of Monte The Pharaoh. This is Mike Monte.
You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh. Until next Thursday at 8:05, right here on Village Connection Network. Later.